So, welcome to my YouTube channel. The name again is Mavis Emefajaba, aka Abnaria, aka. And today we have a guest, and her name is
Patience.
we call her Patience. Okay, so today we are just going to talk about our experience in details.
Okay.
Yeah, like how was like let's have a conversation. So like how the whole application process was like,
Okay.
coming here, your expectations versus reality, and how everything
Okay.
was like. So let's get into the video.
All right. Hmm. Where do I start from?
Everywhere.
Okay. Personally, I already had
No, tell us where you're from.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so my full name's Kambale Patience Letitia, and I'm from Uganda, the Pearl of
Uganda,
Africa.
man. Come
um
on.
I'm a fourth born of many.
Tell them how many siblings you have.
That would be a podcast for another day.
Tell them. We beg.
I am not sure of the
Let's have
number.
it.
I'm, honestly, I'm not sure of the number, but I'm a fourth born of many.
You don't want to, she doesn't
Um,
want to tell us. But we
no,
would
really.
know.
In the next one,
We would know.
um, previously before coming here, I was working. Fortunately for me, I had a friend who literally became a brother. We've been friends from 2009, so you can do the math over.
But look at me somewhere.
Okay.
Okay. Like
Over.
we're having a conversation too.
Okay. Um. So this particular friend of mine, at the time we left high school or finished what you guys call
University. Is it university?
no,
Oh,
not university,
SHS.
SHS. Yeah,
Oh.
he decided to venture into business.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went and joined university. But along those different paths, somehow he ended up back into school.
Okay. But
Unfortunately,
what business was he doing though?
he
It's not
was
Farouk.
yes, he
Mm.
was doing clothing and
Oh,
men's shoes and yeah. So he went to
in
Turkey.
tech, yeah.
Yes, and after maybe like about a year and a half, he
Mm.
returned and then decided to pursue school again. So when he pursued school again, he came to China.
Okay.
So after 4 years of his bachelor's, he identifies BNU, Beijing Normal University, as his
Period.
school for his master's.
Uh,
And at the time of applying, he told me, Patience, I know you're a school person, you're a
mm,
books person.
mm.
Give it a thought. But you have 1 year to think about it. Because
Why
yes,
1 year? He
so
gave you 1 year.
yes, he gave me just 1 year to think about it. You know why?
Why?
Because it's like the following year I'll be exiting the school.
Yes,
So
true.
you have
It's
only
2 years.
you have only
Yeah.
1 year to think about it. And I hope that at the end of that year, you will have made up your mind to come.
I've got my mind made up.
So anyhow, indeed, I took 1 year to think about it. In the beginning, I was very hesitant. I was thinking,
Why?
can't
Why
I
were you hesitant?
can't I do my master's here home? Like I was thinking
Oh,
of
you have master's money.
I was thinking if other people are doing it, it is
You
possible
have
for me.
master's money.
I felt like I would
Odzegu,
I felt like I would
Rich
accumulate it,
auntie.
honestly. But I
Eh.
think essentially my fear was leaving home. Because
Oh,
outside Uganda I'd never been to any other country. So I think
not even Congo.
no. I think my
Okay.
biggest fear was
I'm talking like I've been somewhere.
I think
Okay.
for me, my biggest fear was leaving home, and I gave
Oh.
Farouk all these very many excuses.
Mm.
But eventually, the veil fell off my eyes. I was like, "Wow, this would be a one. in a million opportunity. He broke it down for me. He's like, and besides that, I got you, you got me. So don't worry.
I got you.
So I was like,
You
okay.
got me.
I didn't even have a valid passport at that time. My passport had long expired. So I had to start afresh.
Your old passports, were there any stamps?
Zero stamp.
What were you using it for? Identification?
My mom got it for me when I was very young. So, the validity of our passports is 10 years.
Yeah, I think everywhere now, I think so.
No, but in some West African countries, it's just 5.
Oh, okay. For us, I think somewhere 2017 it was 5 years, and then now they changed it to 10
To
years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So those 10 years, nothing was happening. I don't know. My mom had big dreams for me, maybe, but they all expired with not even a border stamp, not even Kenya or
Yeah, isn't it at their bank for identification?
just filling in that I have a passport in case my ID gets lost. I have that's all that I ever used it for. So at that time, I just had to start everything afresh. I got a passport, and then Farouk took me through the whole application process. So we started applying. He gave me a checklist of documents to give to him, the necessary documents. Of course, you must have finished your bachelor's, all those.
Those ones.
So I started getting one by one.
Okay, I'm going to leave the requirements below in the description. I think in my last video, I left it in that description, and I'll do it for this one too. So,
okay.
Let's go.
So I gave him my necessary documents, paid some money, of course, for admission fees.
Oh, yeah.
And then he told me I shouldn't mind. He would cater for agency and all that.
But you were working back home, right?
Yes, I was working. I was working with an insurance company at that time.
Yeah.
And I was doing admin work and customer service.
Yeah?
Yes.
Hey, big woman.
At the time, I think I'd worked for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 year and some months. It wasn't 2 years exactly.
Do you know what I just realized? That we didn't give the quote, the memory verse for the day.
Oh.
Okay, so you pick and then we continue. Okay. Pick one, then we give it.
Mini, mini, mani, mo. No, let me do this one. Okay, what is it? Okay, so these cards, one side has a word of encouragement and the other has a scripture. Okay. So on one side,
Man of God.
on one side, it has the word of encouragement today is, if God brings you to it, he will bring you through it. I'll give you a minute to let that sink.
Okay.
If God brings you to it, he will bring you through it. And then our verse of the day is, whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Psalms 91 verses 1.
That's on period. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So where do I put it so that we don't accidentally read it again?
Here.
Yeah. Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's supposed to be on this side actually.
Oh. So, on this side?
Yeah, so whenever you're picking, you pick from the back end. And what you've done, you put it in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go.
Okay. So we started going through the application process. Farouk emphasized the importance of keeping time, because you're saying first come, first served. And also I understood
first come, like coming here, or
putting in submission.
Oh, yes. It makes sense.
Yes. And he was saying that also, given the fact that he had to do that plus school, he didn't want to overdo school and forget about me, or overdo this and forget about school. He needed to put a balance to both of them. So truly there was a lot of pressure from Farouk. Send this, you need to send this, send this. I can't tell you the process was easy, really.
Yeah.
When he sent me the checklist, I was like, this is that easy document. But when it when it came to actually getting those documents, Hey, I was like, it's actually not easy. He's like, now you see why I wanted us to do very early, because I knew you don't have these
Yeah,
documents
documents.
readily
Yeah.
available. So I can't tell you it was easy at all.
Hmm.
But somehow
Imagine,
God helped me.
imagine me that started my process late.
I don't know what you did. I don't even know how you managed. Because for me, it took me like 2 months, by the way, to gather all those
Okay, but
documents.
luckily for me too, I've been like applying to other schools. So some of the documents I already had them, but there
Ah,
were others that I had to
really look for.
yeah.
I had not applied anywhere. I was just working. Like, I think the only readily available document I had was my CV, because that one I was working with it.
Okay, ma.
Yes, and maybe the obvious academic documents, but these
Yeah,
other
transcript and
recommendations from professors, I didn't have that stuff. I had to. Long story short, when you decide to apply, get all those things on time
yeah. Right after school, get all your documents.
and put them somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you don't want to go through that.
I honestly.
So, um, we managed to get all the documents, and then he told me, so wait on the school. They'll give you a date for the
Interview.
interviews. So really, they took quite a long time. At
Mm.
some point, I was like, Farouk, are you sure they're gonna give me this interview
Yeah,
date?
you even forget about it. Like, is this thing
I
real?
know it was a long time coming. I waited and waited, and I honestly forgot about it. The
Yeah.
day I least expected it, I was in the middle of a work project.
Hmm.
At my workplace, we were launching a new insurance product. That's when Farouk drops the information. He's like, "You have to."
They didn't send you an email.
No.
Okay.
The email I think we put the first email he put while he was applying for me was his. So most of
Oh,
the
okay.
information was first going through
Okay.
to him.
To him.
So he was like, just get ready, China time. Don't forget it's five
And
hours
it's so
ahead.
confusing for me. Do you know the
Ha.
problem I had? For me, when I googled, because I didn't know the time difference. When I
Mm,
googled, some people were saying it's 7 hours, some were saying 8 hours. I was so confused.
mm,
I texted my uncle. You know how my uncle is always busy. It's like he doesn't really have my time.
mhm.
He would also say he's not sure. I was like, Jesus Christ. So I had actually gone with the like with different hours, like maybe 7, 8, and
9.
9 hours, and prepared to see what time they'll actually come for the interview and all of that. Because hey, I was so scared I was going to miss.
So for me, from Uganda, it's 5 hours. And Baruch told me, patience, don't forget. It is 5 hours. I was like, okay. 5 hours. The time they gave me was 10 a.m. Beijing time. So that
Mm.
is about 4 a.m. Ugandan time. I promise I didn't sleep. Oh.
I know,
I did
right?
not
You'll be
sleep.
so anxious, like,
There was
hey,
a
what am
lot
I
of
going to
anxiety.
do? Did he tell you to read on Belt and Road?
Yes, he
Hey.
did. So, for him, he said his experience was some people were asked about Built and Road, some were not.
Yeah.
But he was like, to be on a safe side, please read
Read,
about Built and Road.
yeah.
Lo and behold, Built and Road was the gist of my interview. Hey,
My own, they didn't ask about Belt and
for
Road.
real.
Not one. They just asked me like, what do you do? Tell me about yourself. With my big mouth. Oh, I have bachelor's in this, blah, blah, blah. Then one professor. Now I know it's Professor Pompey was
Mm.
like, but your bachelor's is not enough. But the way this man talked, I had to say, yeah, I know it's not enough. Like I can do better. That's why I've applied to further my education, to do my masters, yada yada. I was like, okay, but he was giving me some strange. It
Hmm.
was really tough.
Well, for me, okay. So they gave me the date for the interview.
Hmm.
And I'm confused. Where am I going to have this interview from? It cannot be my place. So I speak to a very close friend
Yeah.
who kind of at that time, okay, she still does. Okay, now maybe it's better. Her living room setup was way better than my place's setup. So she was like, no, please come. Let's prepare. What do you need? Like, she was very supportive.
Mm.
So after work, I just pack my things and go to her place. I promise, like, you read for an exam. I was reading Belton Road.
I'm
I
telling
was
you.
Meanwhile, it was my first time to even hear about Belton Road.
I know, right? And it's so confused. It was confusing at the time.
Because
like,
it has
what
been
is
in
Belton
existence for long.
long
So there's
time?
a lot of information to put
Yeah.
in your head in a short time.
And then also, did you get this confusion whether the school was Belton Road or the school was
Beijing, no more
normal, or
university.
the school was Phoenix? Like, it was very confusing. For
In
me,
fact,
it was
I
confusing.
actually distinguished what it was after I arrived. I just knew there is a
Same,
Belton Road somewhere.
same.
There is Beijing
So,
Normal
like,
University.
the faculty is Belton
Belton
Road,
Road.
but the school is Beijing Normal University.
Ha! Jesus.
Same here.
But just no Fark was like, the university is Beijing Normal University, but they're going to ask you stuff of Belton. It wasn't adding up. I was like,
Yeah.
let me just go with what he says. So the interview comes. I don't know if they were doing it intentionally to test my time management, but I promise they came
Late.
30 minutes late.
Same. They came, so I even had to go back text my uncle like, what are they like? Is it that I'm having the time wrong? I've seen that the meeting has started, but nobody is there.
Good.
I kept going back and forth, back and forth. Like,
We are daughters of the same God. Those were my issues, I promise. And Farouk was so patient that he stayed like up the whole time. You know, at that time in China,
lucky.
in China, people are sleeping at that time. For real. He was like, don't worry, they're coming. 10 minutes. I was like, did I get the time wrong? 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I promise I was even starting to fall asleep. And then I started to hear their voices. And there were these three professors, there were two ladies and a gentleman. Honestly, I don't quite remember their names. But the first person that asked me questions was a lady. I kind of first took it for granted until she was like, so she asked me, talk about yourself.
Yeah.
So I talked about myself honestly under a minute. And then where I knew that it is as tough as it should be, it's like, is that all you're going to tell us? For real. Hey!
Really? Hey!
To take you back a little bit, I had issue with light. You know, it was dark. And we are in Africa.
African.
It was dark. The light was not enough. And at the time, they switched on their cameras. They kept on telling me, please adjust your light. Please adjust your light. And my friend was so kind that she now had to add extra light from her phone. Like, she held her phone.
But you said her setting was better than yours.
The setting was okay. The lighting is what failed us. One of her lights in the living room blew. So we're only getting light from one side of the living room. And it was not enough, considering it was 4 a.m. in the night.
Yeah.
If it was during
in
the morning, if it was during, they would have just drawn the curtains and the light would be enough. But now that was a challenge. So she had to hold her phone flashlight for me the whole interview.
How are you watching your face?
I just made sure I don't even look at her. She even thought about that as I was still struggling with where am I going to get extra light. She immediately thought of it. She just put on her flashlight, and it was one hell of an interview. They asked me questions about Belton Road, if I had done research, if I had done thesis. I was like, there was no requirement for thesis. There's no requirement for thesis in my bachelor's. So I told them I didn't do thesis. And they were asking me Belton Road, what projects of Belton Road have I heard from you? Hey, the only thing I remember was at that time they had just completed renovating the road to our airport. So that's the quickest thing that came to my mind. The interview generally lasted for maybe 30 minutes at most.
Okay.
So
mine didn't last long.
For real. Mine lasted long.
While we were still in the interview, and I think maybe that's why they didn't get the chance to ask me about Belton Road. Our prepaid got finished. and
the problems of Africa.
And I couldn't stand up because I just wore a shirt and I was not. I was scared.
Hey,
Okay, I was scared. Okay, now if I stand up
they'll see
and
it.
yes, and I turned on, I go and fix the prepaid and I come back, I'll be exposed. So I just they're like, oh, we can't see you again. What's wrong? I'm like, our power is down. We have a blackout. And they're like, oh, okay, so we hear from you. And what did they even say? That formal thing they say like,
Mm,
we'll hear from you, so you would hear from us soon.
mm, mm,
Blah blah. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions? What? I was like, no.
mm.
Then that's how my interview. So my interview, they didn't ask any
So
single
let's
question
thank the
about
power blackout.
because for Bells and Road, I wouldn't have known what to say about Ghana for because
Mm,
Ghana they don't make anything like really public.
mm.
Maybe it's the Chinese government, but they'll say, "Oh, minister, yada 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 yada," allegedly.
Ah,
So
wow. So, I passed that phase of the interview. No, wait
let's
to
move forward.
clap. Wait to clap.
I should wait.
Yes,
Okay,
you
I'm
wait.
waiting.
Because there was another whole drama that happened
Where?
after that. So I finished the interview and then wait for another maybe 2 weeks.
Mm.
And so Farouk tells me that the Beijing campus
Mm.
wrote to the Zhuhai campus. Apparently, there was an issue with my documents. When your village people are looking for you. So, in my rushing to
Mm.
submit documents, some of the key documents, like my transcript, my certificate, I sent the original, just unverified documents.
Oh
I didn't send
yeah.
verified
What's
documents.
that? What's that name for it? Ka-
I'm forgetting the name.
I remember.
Okay. So,
Notarization has to be notarized.
thank you.
Yeah.
Notarized documents.
Same.
When you're getting your documents, put notarized documents.
Yeah.
So, Farouk writes. So, it was 10 a.m., 9 a.m. China time. Of
Mm.
course, at that time, I was still sleeping back
Evening.
home.
Mm.
He called me and called me until I could actually hear the phone. I got out of sleep. He's like, we have a problem. You need to send notarized documents.
Mm.
Beijing has written to the Zhuhai campus. I was like, oh my God. Now I had to go through that. And you know how African universities are. You put in a request, they will take their
Your
time.
university had to notarize it.
Yes, it's the university that notarizes it.
Really? For
Yeah.
us, you notarize in the court.
No, for us, it's your university that notarizes
Oh.
it. So I had to go to the university. Thank God I had a friend who had a contact of someone,
Have connection.
of
Contact.
someone who works in that office that notarizes.
Oh.
So I had to talk to them. They helped me, and then I was able to get my documents in maybe like 2 working days.
Mm.
Then re-send them. So what Farouk advises, like, don't send them to Juhai when you're posting them via FedEx or what is that, DHL.
DHL.
Send them straight to the Beijing
Hey,
campus.
and me, I sent to Juhai.
So he told me because they will reach here and then I have to send them to Beijing.
He
Because
has to.
yes, because Beijing campus specifically is the one that
Oh.
asked for them. So it's
Oh,
like in order
okay.
to avoid those corner,
Yeah.
just send
Straight
straight.
to Beijing.
I sent. At the time they arrive in Beijing, China goes on holiday. Hey! Oh my God.
Chinese holiday.
There was a Chinese
So
holiday.
it was in February, your application.
I don't know if it was the holiday of February, but there was a
Oh, a
certain
holiday.
Chinese holiday.
Okay.
Ha, Jesus. You know, they give you a tracking number that you keep putting in and you
Yeah.
track my documents were in one place. They were not moving. They were not shit. Farouk was like, patience,
They
where
were
are the
chilling.
documents? I'm like, I don't know. They've been stuck in this place. Like, I kept on sending screenshots for him. And then it's like, oh, we're on holiday. So they are not moving. I'm like, you've been
So why is it
stressing
stressing
me.
you?
So immediately the holiday ended.
Hmm.
The next Monday, the university acknowledged receipt. They had received
Oh.
them. So they went through them and then wrote back to us like, okay, we've confirmed receipt. So now just wait. I was like,
Relax.
This
Relax.
whole process, trust me, was very emotionally draining. Like, you are always at that age. I hope this is right. I hope this is right. But
Mm.
also, after that incident of not having notarized documents, I stopped like taking anything for granted. I knew that even the least thing can make you lose out on this
Yes, for like
opportunity.
yeah.
Yeah. So finally, I
The Lord
think
has
in
done it. Finally.
July or first week of August. I think in
Maybe
July.
July. Wait. Yeah, July. July.
July.
It should be
Yeah.
July. Cause I index numbers is 2907. So it should be July.
Yeah. So July, Farouk takes a picture for me of my documents. It's like, I've received your admission. So I'm gonna post it via DHL so you
Mm.
can receive it. So because I had to use those documents, of course, to apply for visa,
Visa,
but also to
yeah.
put in my resignation. So
You resign.
yes, I
Me,
had
I
to
just
resign.
told them I'm sick.
Ah!
I just said,
Oh my god.
I was sick. I used 1 week to process my visa and everything. So I just said them, I'm sick. They'll not see me at work. Then next week, I'm
You
here.
are Japan. Okay, so for me, I really had to one, it was part of my contract. When you're leaving, you put in a 1 month resignation.
If they sack you, they give you 1 month to get a new job.
Really, that's not what happens. But
Ah,
also I had to get my pension fees, I had to get my savings scheme fees, like
pension.
part
How
of
old are you?
hey, my company was part
But
of the
me, that
benefits
thing,
was pension,
that
and
thing,
I
I
didn't.
don't believe in pension for real.
No, I didn't believe in it until it saved my ass. So I got
You are
that money.
able to get your
They
money.
gave me my money, but they couldn't give
Oh,
it to me if I had not put in a formal resignation. Because even them, they
okay, okay,
have to
okay.
use that resignation you have put in to process your pension to with the
Mm.
necessary organizations that are keeping the money. And then the whole savings scheme, it give you need to give them time because they're going to write you a check, like it's a whole procedure.
Process, yeah.
So you just have to put in 1 month prior. And
Oh,
then
okay.
also I needed, because I had not used my leave days, I needed to get compensated for my leave days. So you see why it was important for me to put in a
Mm.
resignation.
Me, I just thought that pension thing is only after like you've you've gotten to a certain age that you get
Nah,
the money. I
nah.
didn't know.
Okay, so that one is the national social something something,
Oh,
but
then
this
that one is rather the scam.
but I know people that have actually received their money.
Hey,
Yes, in fact, for
but
us in our country, the MPs requested that they give people midterm access. These things of waiting
oh wait,
for
yeah.
60 years. What now? At 45, you can get your pension.
Why not 20
Ah,
or
20 years.
30?
20 years. How long have you
45,
worked?
I can't even, maybe I can't take sugar anymore, I can't eat meat anymore. Now that
What?
I need to enjoy, let
What
me
if
enjoy the money.
45 is even way earlier? They were getting that thing after 60. Hmm.
No.
So anyhow, I put in my resignation. That was a whole other process at office. Like, trust me, only one person in office knew that
HR.
one HR. No, I wasn't that close to
But
HR.
HR will know if you put in your
No. I'm
resignation.
saying my whole process of applying
Oh,
to
oh,
come and
oh, oh,
study.
okay.
Okay, it was not one person, maybe like two close friends in my workspace that knew what was going on.
Hmm.
Then it was so funny how I put in my first verbal resignation. Like, you have to first have a conversation with your HR, then you go now and put it in email and
Hmm.
copy the necessary people. She was grilling me that particular quarter. We had just finished our appraisals.
Hmm. Yeah, I know an
Yes.
appraiser. Or
So
explain it to them, maybe they don't know.
okay, so appraisal is depending on different companies, they check your performance quarterly. Have you hit the goals they set for you? Have you um performed as per your key performance indicators? Is there progress? If they put for you courses to do, did you study them during that particular period or that particular quarter? So we were doing my appraisal
Hmm.
in the office of the HR. The HR was actually my direct supervisor because I was
Okay,
working with
nice.
administration. So
Okay.
she was grilling me that particular quarter. Me, I had already mentally signed out the moment I started applying for my master's. So even I wasn't as diligent as I was before with my work. I was just passing time that whole quarter. So she's like, this is not you. This is not like you. You've been doing so well. What happened this quarter? You've not hit this goal. You've not hit this target. She was
What
complaining,
is
complaining.
it? I mean, she done enough.
The whole time she was complaining. She didn't give me any good remark at the end of the appraisal.
But
Yes,
they would still give you your money. Mean
of course, of
then
course.
it didn't matter.
Hey, when you have okay, so there's also how they've appraised you will reflect eventually in the annual salary increment.
But how does that concern you?
It concerns me because other if you've repeatedly performed well for 4 quarters, there is a particular percentage you've accumulated that they will increase your salary in the next
But
financial
you
year.
are not going to remain with them, so
Yeah,
I'm wondering how it concerns you.
yeah. So I'm just telling you why it's also important to perform well. But for me, I had signed
Yeah,
out
I know.
just for that particular quarter. If I wasn't leaving, of course I was going to be doing my best.
Yeah.
So she complained when she was done. I was like, I have something to tell you. She was like, okay. She's like, this is going to be our last appraisal. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm
I'm out.
leaving. She's like, you're leaving?
To
To
where?
where? I was like, I'm going to China to study my master's. That jaw dropped.
You,
It took her.
sorry, not to cut you, but you know this thing when you tell someone I'm going to China, like, China.
I'm coming to that.
China.
I'm coming to that. And she was like, why? Why China? Why not Canada? Why not the States? I'm
Would you
like,
give me the money?
it's like it's a full scholarship. Tuition covered, accommodation covered, stipend covered. Wouldn't you want that?
Who doesn't want?
You know what she said? She's like, to be honest, not there's no counter offer that the company can give you
Yeah.
to that particular full scholarship with all those privileges.
Benefits, yeah.
Yeah, she was like, please go and do your master's.
I know, right?
Yeah, so I later wrote now the formal resignation with the CEO, the MDs, and then they started to process my exiting. Also, it gives them time to put out the advert so that they can get your replacement and all that. Yeah, so
Someone's prayer topic for you to leave.
I know. So yeah, I started handing over here and there, making sure that whatever I was doing, I'm finding someone to do it temporarily as they get someone who is coming. Yeah, and then of course my family knew all the way. They knew. Maybe some didn't know the seriousness of it until it actually dawned on them that wait a minute, she's actually going.
Hold up.
Let's have it. Let's have it. So yeah, and I didn't take leave. I worked so that I can get
A long leave.
a long leave, but also get compensation. Yeah. I needed the money. This process can be money draining, to be honest. Yes.
Okay.
Let her not lie to you. Hey. Yes.
But did I lie to anyone?
You're giving them the indication of it's not like that.
Okay.
Prepare your money, so. Oh, I hope you're saving, go. Yeah, so the documents eventually arrived. Then I went to the embassy. That was also another experience. I didn't know the embassy in Uganda, the Chinese embassy in Uganda only works 2 days a week.
How?
They only open on Wednesday and Friday. The rest of the days they are not open.
But why? The rest of the days, what did they do?
The embassy is closed on those days. So,
like every embassy or only the Chinese
the
embassy?
Chinese embassy.
Okay.
I went there the first day I bounced and they told me come on Wednesday or Friday. So if you applied on Wednesday, you'd get your passport back on Friday. Yeah, so I went, applied, paid the money in the bank, and then by Friday I had my visa. Then I started to look at favorable flights. So me, I wanted to even extend a bit. I actually wanted to go at the real end of August. Farouk was like, no, 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 no. You come within those days because your admission says you must have arrived at this time. It's like, okay. I was trying to buy more time with family because I didn't actually spend a lot of time with them because I was working so that I can get that money. So that was the tricky bit. And yeah, now I start to buy the necessary things, pay for the ticket. Now my family is accepting that she's going. Each one of them handled it in a different way, really. I also had my own share to handle. Like I
Your
was
boyfriend.
that one wasn't really a problem. I think my fears were I'm leaving everything I've ever known. Like I'm leaving what is normal to go and see what I have never seen.
Wait, what you've never seen, is it abnormal?
It's not abnormal, but
Which one is I'm
you
living
know when
what
you've
is normal
you
to
know
like
what has been known to me as normal. This and let me
okay,
explain.
ma,
And let me
explain.
explain.
Okay.
It's a different thing for someone who has traveled before, gone and come back, gone and come back.
Oh,
But if
okay.
you've actually never gone anywhere, you have many fears. That's the truth of how will that journey be? I hope I'm not
And you're traveling
scammed. And you're
alone.
traveling alone. I hope
Yeah.
I won't be scammed. Is my device in good condition?
You
My luggage, like
really have to think of all this.
all of
But
it.
for me, I feel like maybe I'm just not serious. Because for real, like these things didn't really, I don't know. I honestly, I never took anything serious till I got here, and then like I stayed for. I was like, okay, I'm really not in Ghana
Mm.
anymore. Because like the whole process, even then I was breaking the news to my mom, I was laughing. She was like, "Am I serious?" She thought I was joking. Because at first, before I told her that, she knew I had started the process, but she didn't know how far.
Mm.
Before I eventually told her that, okay, I've gotten admission, I'm actually going,
Mm.
and I'm leaving like on when did I leave? Is it on Thursday? I'm leaving on Thursday or on Friday. I don't know. On Thursday, of it's like really, and maybe I think I told her like on a Monday. Do you understand?
Jabba.
Relax,
Hey.
because the one like my process
Okay,
was
okay, okay.
fast and all of like I
To be
did
fair,
yeah,
yes.
and then when I told her, she was like, okay, but for me, I didn't really feel anything because me, I'm not really that a fan of like being so heavily attached to
Mm.
family. Like I love my family more when I'm far from them.
Okay.
That's me. So for me, it really didn't tickle anything in me. But my mom, she'll be crying. She'll be like, "Oh, so you are leaving? What?" Now I'm like, now."
Hey.
Then she will be like the only person that maybe I was really sad. But at that time, like I didn't really think of it was the guy I was seeing at the time.
Mm.
Like anytime he'd be like, okay, let's have a conversation about it. I'm like, nah, let's not think about it. Let's just figure it
Trying
out
to
when
avoid.
yeah, that's how I felt. And I was like, nah, let's figure things out when we get there. I don't want to be thinking about but looking back, I should have had that conversation. I feel like
Okay.
it was important. But for me, I never took, even at the airport, like everything didn't seem real. I was like, am I
Yeah,
even doing the right thing? Am
that
I going on the right place?
there's
Like,
that
I'm
bit.
like,
I promise you, there is that bit in every sense. Okay, so for me, I really did have the conversations with everyone. Like I tried to pacify their hearts. Like I tried to tell them it's okay. What you're going through, I'm going
what
through.
were you using to pacify them?
Like just
Just what?
words. What did you think I was supposed to do? Even me, I needed yeah,
Money.
I needed the money. Me who was going, I needed it more than them who are staying. But really, I tried to have the conversations with everyone that
Hmm.
mattered. I prepared my church family because I would spend a lot
Yeah.
of time with them. I prepared
Mama
my
Jesus.
my my close siblings, especially the ones that I was staying with at that time. My mom, we really went over it every single day. It was the good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Of course, my boyfriend, we really did talk about it. And ha,
What's the name of your boyfriend?
he's called Jesse.
I thought you say, "Oh no, it's private."
He's called
Hey,
Jesse.
forgive us. I wanted to put
No,
you on the spot, but
we are not
forgive
putting
us.
his picture. He's
Okay,
called Jesse.
okay. I thought you'd be like me, be like, "Oh no, I can't disclose. It's private." And I was like, "Okay, this girl is hiding something."
No,
But
there's nothing
straight
to
up,
hide.
he's called Jesse.
There's nothing to
Jesse,
hide.
please, we greet you. Hope you are good.
Yeah. So if there's anyone who was very excited about my coming, it was Farouk. Farouk told me, I've even organized my clothes I'm going to wear when I'm picking you from the airport. Meanwhile, we had not seen each other for a long time. So he was very excited. I was updating him, of course. He was like, Madam, thanks for the updates, but your WeChat needs to be working at all time.
About WeChat, I have something to say. You guys, do you know my WeChat got blocked the moment I checked in at the airport? Can you imagine?
Why?
I don't know. They said I violated some password. I don't know. My WeChat got blocked at the airport. And you know, once you get on your flight, no Wi-Fi, and now I'm coming to China, I don't have WeChat. And now I couldn't reach my roommates because most of the things I was depending on my roommates for them, and then it was luckily I reached my uncle, and then he called one guy here, Reagan. He called Reagan. And then Reagan was the one that helped. Even with that, I was suffering with this translation. It was the grace of God that I got here.
For everyone. So we on the flight. So for me, it was 12 hours, 5 hours from Uganda to Doha, then from Doha to Guangzhou, 7 hours. My layover at Doha was maybe 2 hours maximum. I just entered the airport, and before I knew it, we were entering again. Now, in the 7 hours flight, the whole time I was eating, sleeping. I didn't even bother to see who were my neighbors until we were landing, and they're telling us to fill in all these COVID things. Hey!
So now, patience. So now, I regret that I didn't engage like my neighbor, because the person that sat beside me was Chinese, and I could tell he spoke English, but I was so shy because because mind you, like my WeChat was not working, so I knew that okay, I would need someone to. But I was like, okay, now let me just get to the airport and let me just arrive and see what will happen. Right? Then we got there. I saw some machines over there. I have to scour. Now I'm lost, and that thing you have to use your WeChat. She said, I don't have WeChat. And then there were lots of I stayed there for over 2 hours. I didn't even know time was passing because I couldn't figure things out. I was like, God, why didn't I just speak to this man? When patience, hey, I really struggled. Then I finally went to, like, when I think almost all those on my flights had gone to, another batch of passengers had even come to join.
Oh my
Patience. I almost cried for it, but I kept my thing together. Went through, I think, but now they don't do that COVID thing anymore. Went through like the immigration process. Now, and the man he was asking me for my admission notice that I don't look like my passport. Is it me? I'm like, I showed him my admission notice before. I was like, okay, I should go through. Going for the bag collection to take my baggage, I went to the wrong aisle. I didn't know they have like different aisles for like different flights.
That was me.
I went to the wrong aisle, and then like I saw my bag at a different side, but I was thinking it would turn and come to my side.
The
I was
Lulu.
waiting. I was waiting, and it's like this thing is not coming. So I had to go to that, and then was my bag was the only baggage on that thing. I had to drag my trolley or whatever it's called to that side and pick my baggage.
We are landing. It dawns on me that I haven't greeted my neighbors, but I need their help. So I say hello to this guy. He was Chinese and he had come from a West African country. He had a project there. So I asked him, "Do you speak English?" He's like, "Yes." I'm like, "I need your help. I don't know what is going on. What are we feeling in?" So he's like, "Oh, okay. Your phone." He had to hotspot me. Like everything.
Yeah.
Like he literally babied me. He's like, "Do this, do this, do this,
Oh,
do
you
this."
are so lucky.
Hey,
You are
hey.
really lucky.
We got off the plane. That shuttle that takes you from the plane to where now you are checking out.
Shuttle took you guys.
Yeah, there was that small shuttle bus because where first of all we had issues with landing. I don't know what was wrong with our
Then maybe you
plane.
guys landed.
So from where the plane left us off, they sent like shuttles to come and pick us and then like take us
in the
inside.
building.
Yes. The whole time I was on him like, "You're not leaving me until this thing is done." I think he was like, "This chick is weird." We entered, he took me through, he's like, "Do this, do this, do this, do this." So he kept on asking me, "Which country are you coming from?" He was asking me questions. And then of course, because he's a citizen,
It was easy, for them to.
now at the time we separate, the citizens go the other side and then foreigners take this path. Now that path also, I had now to first observe what are people doing. I noticed there was a gang
and I
of
think you have to print when you get there. You have to print fill a form again.
there's a form you
I
fill.
also didn't know. I got there and I realized that he said we should fill. I had to go back go and fill a form. Hey guys.
I filled in the form. I didn't know what I was filling in. I realized there was a group of some Ugandans, but they had come for business.
Yeah.
So I overheard them speaking Luganda. So I just kept on like peeping in their documents. What are they filling in? Then one lady asked me, "You on student visa, business?" I'm like, "Student visa." Like, "That's easy. Just put this. So I put as like, oh, like at every step of the way, there was an angel to help me. And then I eventually went now to the real checking of immigration. They asked me passport, admission. Thank God I had it in my carry-on. So I showed it to them. And they're like, "Okay, proceed to go and pick your luggage." I didn't know what you're saying. I didn't know that for every plane there's a pickup point for them. Me, I just followed people of my plane. I just followed. Trust me, if I don't follow them, I was going to stand there for long. Meanwhile, at this point, now I have to remember I have to connect to airport Wi-Fi. So I connected to airport Wi-Fi, and then I followed people. Thankfully, my first bag came, and then after like 3 minutes, my second bag came. Then took them off. Then now I remembered WhatsApp doesn't work here. It is WeChat. So when my phone connected to Wi-Fi, I found missed calls from Farouk, like via WeChat. He was calling. Because for him, he knew what time the plane is.
And you see what you just said, that WhatsApp doesn't work in China. Imagine me. I didn't have WeChat. WhatsApp was not working. Imagine what I went through. Just imagine. You know what? Luckily, I had done. I had taken screenshots of like translations down. So when I just like showed to them, like, and I was literally following like, okay, I can see an opening here. Let me walk here. That's how I left the airport, and I'll show it to them. Oh, I'm going to this side. Because I'm like, oh, okay. Then they helped me. I got like a DD or a shared ride. Continue.
So I then take my phone, call Farouk. Farouk is like, "Patience, where are you?" Because really, from the time we had landed, I think it was now beyond 2 hours. Honestly.
Yeah. Even you that had it easy.
Yes. First of all, our flight had issues. We landed later than we were actually supposed to land. Yeah. So that setback made even further setbacks. So anyhow, he's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm just following people. I don't actually know where I am, but I'm following people leaving." He's like, "Okay,
Yeah.
proceed.
It's
Just
a
keep I'm standing somewhere, you will see me. I'm wearing a white shirt." I'm like, "Okay." Farouk always told me throughout this 12 hours journey, if you haven't seen me, you haven't arrived. Just, yes. Just know the moment you see me, you're home. If you haven't seen me, you're still unsafe. I was like, okay. So I kept having that thing at the back of my mind. If I haven't seen Farouk, I haven't arrived. I kept on looking. He was like, stay on the Wechat call. Don't get off, like, until I see you or you see me. So I kept on walking, and then he's like, I have seen you. I'm like, but I'm not seeing you. He's like, I have seen you. And he had come with his friend. He had come with a bouquet. He had come with his friend Petero. So Petero was doing that video thing, like to keep like that whole memory for us. Ha! I saw Farouk. My brain just switched off. I was like, I'm done thinking for myself. Completely. Like I just gave him my bags. We took pictures, blah blah blah. From that moment, I rested. Like I was a child. From that moment, I stopped thinking.
Me, it was the beginning of another journey. Hey, now I learned my lesson from the plane. So now in the how do you call in the shared ride, the Didi, I engaged the Chinese that was in the car with me. I was like, this is my situation, my WeChat isn't working, blah blah blah. He was like, okay, he'd help me, and I gave him the contact of one of the guys my uncle made me talk to here. And then I was talking to him through the guy's phone. And then I was like, oh, he was going to Shenzhen. I was like, oh, he shouldn't worry. I shouldn't worry. He will take me to school. What. And you know, we shared ride. They will not take you straight to your destination. They would roam with you, like drop every other person. And I was the last person to be dropped off. So I went to different cities, then we finally went to Shenzhen and we dropped that guy off. And when we dropped him, he told me that I shouldn't worry, like about an hour to I'll arrive on campus. But I was a little bit scared because my phone was low. And my phone wasn't, he gave me his power bank, but my phone wasn't charging. Because I don't know, somehow water had entered the charging port. So it was
Village people can. Hey.
It was not charging. Hey God. I was here like I'll try to stay up, but I was dozing.
You're tired. That journey was so long.
I tell you. On top of it, do you know how much these people charged me?
Hey, let's
God.
have it. Let's have it.
Let me not say it. They really milked me. It was later I realized that, like, I think this thing is normal.
Yeah,
Like,
you're a foreigner, they'll take advantage of that.
But at long last, what mattered was I was safe, and I got that Chinese guy's WeChat, so I kept in touch with him later. Yeah.
Okay. So I get to Farouk and his friend Petero. We get onto the subway, exit the airport, book a bus to Zhuhai, and then we come. So me, I thought Zhuhai is not that far. I asked Farouk, how far is Zhuhai? He's like, if you want to sleep, just start sleeping. It's a whole journey. I'm like, okay. Me, at the end of the day, my mind was settled. I'd seen Farouk, so I am okay. Like, I just...
Yeah, safe.
Yeah. And then because he had my family's contacts, my mom and my boyfriend. So he called my mom. He called my mom to give her the assurance that she's in good hands. Because the moment my family stopped getting in contact with me, he now had to deal with them. They kept on asking him, have you heard from? Have you? It's like, no, she's in space. 7 hours. We have to wait. My mom was like, are you at the airport? She should have arrived at this time. It's like, I'm here, I'm waiting. Yes, they're calculating time. So anyway, to calm her down, Farouk video called her on WhatsApp because now for him he has the working VPN.
Yeah.
So I talked to her. Oh my god, I saw the relief on her face. She's like, "You're alive.
Ah.
You're alive." Especially for a first time traveler.
Yeah.
Really, there are many fears in your head. So yeah, and then we came to Juhai. Of course, we couldn't enter campus at that time. It was quite late. We entered Juhai maybe past 9, coming to 10 p.m.
Mm.
So at that time, Farouk just said, "You know what? Let me check you in a hotel. You sleep, and then We'll start from there tomorrow."
You went to a hotel.
Yeah, Farouk took me to a
Me, I
hotel.
came. Let me tell you, when I arrived here, it was almost 12. Yeah, it was almost midnight. And then Reagan, I called the Didi
Mm,
guy called Reagan. I'd given Reagan's WeChat to him.
mm,
So called Reagan, and then Reagan met us at the security post. Me,
mm,
I didn't know who Reagan was or
mm,
what he looked like. I even thought he was a teacher because Reagan could speak Chinese.
mm.
I had no idea even how the school.
It looks like
Yeah, I
nothing.
had no idea.
I don't even
So
know what I was expecting.
I know, right? So Reagan picked me up. He carried I just carried like my backpack, and he carried all my
Luggage.
luggages and was raining. It was pouring.
Hey.
I'm serious. It was really
Wow.
raining. Then we were driving, like, wow, we go to be like, oh, just go. I'm like, okay, let me follow, like, let me go, like, let's go. I got down here. I was seeing lots of Africans around and other nationalities. I'm like, what's going on? Then he scanned his face. It was like I should come. I'm like, won't they say anything? Like, won't they ask any question? Then he asked me what my room number was again. I told him, and he took the key from IE,
Mm.
and then I signed. I'm like,
Just
just
like
like
that.
that.
I
Then he
know.
was like, you're on the third floor. I'm like, I don't know, but okay. And then we got here. We know my roommate was here. This one, she was thinking I would not come. She's telling me I should come, but she had planned that I wouldn't come. This girl. So my roommate
I
was
have
here.
nothing to add to that.
You have. My roommate, when she said, she was like, yeah, here. I wasn't hearing from you. Oh my God. Ah, Asha arrived. Then I was like, is that, or don't I have to be like, when the school check anything? Like, so look, I was like, or maybe they are illegally keeping me. Like, I was so confused. Okay, I was like, how is it that simple?
Let me tell you
I
my
was so
dramatic
confused.
experience with arriving. You know, when you've come from Africa, you have your own traumas. Please try. I know it's not easy, but try to leave them at your national
Yeah.
airport. When I arrived, I had 2 suitcases and a carry-on.
Hmm.
So I'm telling Farouk, Farouk is saying, let's take pictures. He's like, leave this. I'm like, no, 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 no.
No,
Why am I
so-
leaving? Up until today, Farouk reminds me, like, Patience, the day you're so clean on your suitcases, no one is even going to. What did you have in there that we will steal? Nothing. Like, he had to
Food.
constantly put it in my head. China is safe. Even if you leave your phone there,
Yeah.
you will find it.
China is very
The
safe.
safest country, I promise.
In our opinion.
Truly, truly, it
Yeah,
is safe.
it's safe.
He kept on telling me, leave your bags. I'm like, no, 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 no.
Leave it.
Leave your no. Oh my god. It took a while to take that thing out of my head.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we arrive, they take me to eat food somewhere, and then they check me into a hotel, and then I slept. So Farouk told me, I'll come and pick you in the morning.
Eh? Baby girl.
Me, I told you, my brain rested the moment I saw him. Just like he told me, when you see me, you've arrived. If you don't see me, you're still in trouble. So that morning, I woke up, showered, then he came and picked me, and then we came to school. The moment we were entering school like this, it rained heavily, like heavily. So we had to stay there for a while. So then they took me to register, like the in the tents there, BRS, BNU, received the stuff, and then finally came to Phoenix School. Phoenix School is where it's our accommodation.
Yeah, hostel.
Yeah, so came, did the necessary registration, blah blah blah. So also another fear I had was, at least for you, you are in touch with who your roommate is. At least you have a little idea of who she was. At least you
Yeah,
even
I
had
didn't
a
have
WeChat.
any idea. This girl here, which has had different people over there. How would I know which of them is
Hold on.
Nicodemus?
Like at least you were chatting with her. I
Okay.
didn't know who this person was or how they look like. Like I had zero info. Farouk kept on telling me, don't worry. Just
You'll
don't
be
worry.
fine.
When I arrived, I'm like, so my roommate is there. It's like, yeah, she's a good person. She's an okay person. It's like, at least she's a good person. Don't worry. I'm like, okay. But because that was really a fear for me, like I kept on telling God, I need this person to be a nice person, like who wouldn't fight, who wouldn't quarrel, those things. Meanwhile, she also didn't know there was a roommate coming.
She wasn't expecting.
She wasn't expecting
She
me.
wasn't expecting it.
Nobody told her. Phoenix didn't tell her anything. She just had knocks on the door.
Them bags.
And it was Regan who was carrying my bags.
Oh.
Regan did a good job
Yeah.
with her badge.
Yeah, because I think even someone passed the comment that, oh, another one, like, so it gave me that feeling that, okay, he's been like helping people.
Oh, yes, he
And
did.
me too, I didn't go through your process because I came when you guys were 2 weeks
2
in
weeks.
already.
Yeah, 2 weeks in. So he knocked. My roommate opens. Me, I was still down in the function room. And then he's like, these bags are for your roommate. She was like, I have a roommate. It's like, yeah, where is she?
that?
She's coming. So we go up the stairs. I'm looking at this building. Like my head is all over. Like all over. I'm trying to
figure out
what's going on, but also remove what I expected. And truthfully, I don't even
Did
know
you
what
expect anything
I don't even know what I expected. I don't know. But I had to remove that image and then now actualize or accept what was.
soak it in.
Yeah. Then I entered and then Farouk is like, Tada, this is your room.
Did he really say tada?
Not Tada, but just said, you're welcome to your room. I'm like, okay, so I meet my roommate. Good enough, she's from a country that is neighboring Uganda. She's
Kenya.
from Kenya. And then we both speak Kiswahili, and then it was quite easy. You put some music.
Okay.
So I settle in, put in my things, laid my bed, and then Farouk's like, come now, I take you around the school. We walked and walked and walked, went all the way to McDonald's, rotated, and then came back. He's like, and we shall do more. Yeah.
So that was it.
That was like he spent the whole first 2 weeks like, anything you need, I'm here. Anything you need, I'm here.
But
yeah.
after entering China, like what are the shocks that you've had?
Quite many.
Tell us.
Right away from the airport, the weather hit me like, ask Farouk, is it just me or I am boiling? Like I'm feeling
Why you wore jackets?
No, I was in a normal t-shirt and cargo pants. It was hot. It's like, you're even lucky you've come at the end of August. If you had come in June or July, you trust me, you wouldn't want to experience what I'm like. What do you mean? It's like, this weather is very okay. Don't even complain. It was so hot, like that kind. I know Africa has
Hot.
wet and dry season, but that kind of hot, I had never experienced that kind of hot. That was shock number one. Shock number two. Okay, there are many. The food. I knew I had had all these stories. Oh, Chinese eat frogs, they eat snakes.
Yeah. Even when you're coming, you're like, don't go and eat frog.
Yes.
Don't go and eat.
Up until now, when you're talking to people back home, they're like, did you start eating frogs? Did you start eating?
That question annoys the heaven out of me. What do you mean?
I was like, so the first restaurant Farouk takes me at to eat, he was teasing me really because he knew my fears of I don't want to eat those kinds of things. So he ordered for beef and potatoes and I think rice. So he was secretly recording videos of me
Mm.
and then sending them to my mom. He's like, she's actually eating frog meat. No, but it was not true. So my mom would every time would video call my mom on his phone because my WhatsApp was not working. She was like, "Are you sure you ate beef yesterday?" I'm like, "Yes." It's like, because I think you ate frog meat, I would come for Farouk and then would quarrel. It's like, relax. There was no
Relax.
frog. It was just me teasing you.
But
But
on campus, yeah, I don't think they have frog. They
I
have
don't know, maybe we've not really explored all
because it's
campus
in the
restaurants.
mall, that Palang mall.
There are
There's
frogs.
frog,
Yeah.
yeah.
That day I went there, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So you see how you real go to the market store, pick your fish. Hey,
I know. You see the frogs in that glass thing,
I was like,
hopping and things.
you are joking. So it is actually, there is knowing and then there is accepting and
Yeah,
see.
and see.
Those are two different things. I saw frogs. I
I
saw
told
snails.
you.
I saw
Hmm.
things that are like worms. They're like
They are
snakes.
alive. No. They are eel. How do eels or said them? They are like fishes, like snake fish kind of
Oh
thing.
my god! I was like, you've got to be kidding, and it's
if
alive, very
if
alive.
if you want to go to the zoo in China, just go to the mall, like where they sell like the
You see,
frozen foods and
you see all
you
sea
see.
animals in water, not for anything, for food.
Yeah, for food for consumption.
I was like, this stuff is actually very real.
Yeah,
That was a one big shock. The other,
and then
um,
there are power banks everywhere, literally everywhere. If
yeah,
and then if your phone is low in China, you're a useless human being.
because your phone is your very lifeline. Everything is literally on your phone.
Yeah, everything is
So
on your
that's
phone.
why there are outlets of power
Power
banks
banks. Yeah.
everywhere. Another,
WeChat, you use your WeChat to pay, to
to
buy things.
book transportation,
Yeah, well,
literally
Alipay, WeChat
and Alipay,
Alipay.
yeah, literally everything.
Yeah, your bank card, everything is on your phone. You just scan to
Yeah,
pick a bus, your phone,
everything.
everything is on your phone.
Everything you can think about shopping is on your
On your
phone.
phone,
Yeah.
everything.
So your phone is literally your
You're like,
lifeline.
yeah.
So yeah, that I think also coming to terms with that, I struggled. Like I
Oh,
really,
and the
really struggled.
bike. You didn't tell.
Ha! When I had just arrived, of course, I was still in honeymoon phase. Farouk was babying me. It's like, but madam, eventually you're going to learn how to ride a
Right.
bike because we
Yeah.
can't be walking and walking
Yeah,
like
on
this.
campus, you need to ride on campus.
Yeah.
This girl, she didn't know how to ride a bike. She made us walk to for how many weeks? For the first few weeks,
I think the
we
first one
walked
month.
1 month.
Was it 1 month or
I
three
don't know.
weeks?
And it was before
One
the
month.
Chinese holiday.
We had made one. No, we hadn't made one
No,
yet.
I think maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Because you came after like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
About
Okay,
3 weeks.
for me, like 2 weeks for me,
So that
like
was a month.
a month.
Hmm.
We walk to class. Hey, and you know some of the classes are very far. This girl, hey,
Shout out to these guys. They're the real
hmm,
G's. They were very patient with me. But
eh,
also me personally, they reached a time I was like, nah. Especially with the far day. There was a time I had now started
yeah.
shopping like,
Oh, those who don't know Kwaidi
oh,
is eh, like the delivery
very
service.
pick
Yeah,
up place, the
pick up
delivery
place.
pick up place. So when you do shopping, there's particular stations where you pick your stuff. So we have three, I think. There's one
Mm,
close one to our hostel, then there's another one that is
very
extremely
far.
very far.
Mm.
So when my things were posted to that far one, ha, that was a struggle. I remember I used to have to beg Farouk, please come, we go. Meanwhile, we load the
That's
things in the
good.
bike. He's riding as I'm walking. It would be annoying for him. It would be like, patience, just because it's you. But you need to learn how to ride a bike. Eventually, I got intentional about it. I was like, I can't be making these guys walk all the time. But thank you for being patient.
Me, I was not patient, so don't let her lie to me.
She was even among the teachers.
I was
Yeah.
never
But she
patient.
wasn't a kind teacher. Jabba. Jabba.
It's tough love.
Hey! You've had.
So,
She's not even denying
no,
anything.
no, relax.
Jabba was very impatient with
Relax.
me. Thank God I onboarded her.
Wasn't it my motivation that made you learn how
Hold
to
up.
write?
Thank God I onboarded her as a teacher at the point where I was done learning the basics. If we had started from the fundamentals, hey, I promise you I would have never learned. Madam over here,
No, this
tap,
girl,
tap,
it's
tap, tap.
because of me. It's because of I'm telling you, it's because of me.
Whose story is this? It's mine, Abby.
Who brought it up?
You guys, I didn't know how to ride a bike. If there is anything I'm going to take back home with my full chest, ride a bike.
Now, what of your degree?
That one is expected. I came here
Okay.
to get a degree. It has to go back home.
Okay.
Yeah, so
But here in China, I have to learn how
you
to
can't
ride a bike.
almost can't survive without it.
Yeah.
Really.
And then the bikes you scan with your phone.
Yeah.
With your phone to pay. And
You
then
can pay a monthly subscription.
yeah, or 1.5 yuan each time you ride.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's actually easier if you pay for the monthly subscription, especially if you're having classes back to back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I also learned how to ride a bike. That was a big deal. Oh my god. Like I would literally at every opportunity I told her to record videos of me and I would
Do
be
you know
sending
I
them.
think I have some videos I've not sent to you.
Why?
What is why?
I'll be waiting for them. So I would send them back home. Yeah, and
What other shock have we had here?
what other shock?
Me another shock is what?
Hey,
What?
Chinese is not easy. Let nobody
The
lie to you
language.
that Chinese is easy. Ha!
Ni hao. You know when you're chatting with someone, the first thing they'll be like, ni hao. I'm like, oh, Tracy no pampas.
Madam,
I know you don't
interpret
understand.
for us.
I know, I'm just thinking like that. Just thinking like that. I know you don't understand.
I tell you guys,
Ni
Chinese is not
hao.
easy. It's not for real.
Yeah, but I think if you are intentional about
You
it,
can
you can
learn.
learn. And also, if you move around a lot, like you'd be forced to learn. But this one here and me, we are always indoors.
At least
We
her.
don't go
At least her
anywhere.
she even tries. Me.
Yeah, at least
Hey.
me. But she doesn't go
It's
anywhere.
1 year now and I
1 year? It's not year 1 year. Like 9 months, 10 months.
You know, next month I'm making a year here.
You?
August. I arrived on 26th of August. We're in July.
Eh.
So I'll be making a year.
Okay.
And trust me, my Chinese, I just know the basics. In fact, even those basics.
Just a little.
Mayo.
Indian. What is mayo? Mama who or mayo?
That one. Evidence. Yeah, so really, and I think for me personally, I underestimated the importance of actually knowing the language, but the days it will real pinch you and you really, really need to
because
navigate.
sometimes the translating apps are not
Accurate.
very like you can't really depend on it all the time.
Yeah, so that one was also another shock.
My other shock is the apps that work here. So one thing, if you don't know this, like for Chinese, they have apps that work for them. They don't use other like foreign apps or whatever. Like their TikTok, they have their own TikTok. YouTube, Chinese, I think they use WeChat.
Yeah, for literally
everything. And then there are some personalized apps for like the apps we shop on and all of that. They don't use Instagram, they don't use TikTok,
WhatsApp.
Facebook, WhatsApp, none of that. So to use those apps, you need like VPN.
Yeah, and particular types of VPN, not all VPNs. Yeah.
Because my first weeks in China it was really pain because I didn't have VPN. I had to get a new SIM card before I can create WeChat because my other WeChat was blocked.
Yeah,
But I think now I know how to unblock it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's actually another show. But at least okay, so I knew with the WhatsApp, I had already been told that there's for you to use WhatsApp, you must have a particular VPN. But I didn't know it cuts across for Instagram, for Facebook. So coming to terms with that. Yeah. That was also another
Yeah, and
shock.
also one other shock is using the bus here in China. I didn't know. Okay, convenience in China. I didn't
Mm,
know China was so convenient.
convenient,
Like
yes.
everything is programmed. Like we said, the system is working for real.
Dope. Very
Everything
dope.
is so convenient. Like you pick a bus from one point, you drop off at another point. I think it's for other advanced countries, but for people like us that are directly from like
Africa.
Africa, mm-mm. And then it's not expensive.
Yes, it's
It's
not.
one kwai 1 yuan for 1 yuan in cities is like 2 cities pesos or 3 cities. I don't know.
One
Yeah.
yuan in Uganda, it's 500 shillings.
Eh,
500 shillings.
that sounds like a lot of
Nah,
money.
it's just a coin, small coin like
Really?
this. Yeah.
Oh, ice is like 2 CD 2.5. I don't know, somewhere around that range. But this 1 year is like it could be a very long distance or short distance. It's like as long as you've gotten on the
The
bus,
bus,
whatever stop you get to, you still pay like that fixed
that
amount.
particular
Yeah.
yes,
In
honestly,
China, it's so
sometimes
convenient.
thinking about when we'll go back home for one reason or another, we're gonna struggle because the
Yeah.
system here is so smooth. Really,
Yeah.
really, you just shop and the thing is right there. You
Yeah.
don't have to
The
struggle.
disadvantage, you spend lots of money because you start to click, like you just be clicking before you realize your
And they're
stipend is gone, your stipend is done.
good quality, um, very affordable, and easy to get. Like, and you have
Hmm.
many options.
And it's easy to return the stuff
Yes,
and get
even
your
when you
money back
don't
as
get
well.
what you actually wanted, you can. The system is so smooth that you don't want to leave. You don't want to
Okay,
imagine your life back.
back home, yeah.
You don't
And
want
then yeah, you can walk around even at 11 p.m.
because it's
and you will
safe.
not even feel like it's late. Like, okay, it will be dark, obviously, but you will not feel anything like, I'm scared.
Nothing.
No, you can't. Maybe the only thing you
Mm-mm.
should be scared of is maybe insects, snakes, or
Yes.
something. But
Yeah,
aside
but
that,
besides that,
nah,
nah, there will not be strange attacks or what. There are cameras
nothing. There are
everywhere.
cameras
There are
everywhere.
lights everywhere.
I remember there was this one time I lost my
Airport.
app. Yeah, I remember that. But they found them for me. They tracked like every CCTV. I left it in a bike and someone scanned the bike and took the bike to a different location.
Mm.
So I went to the campus police station. Like they really had my time. Asked me. It felt like they're investigating a murder.
Yet it was
They were
just
tracking airports.
airports.
They'll track, okay, the person passed this area around this time. They note the time down, check other possible lanes that
Mm,
the person could have taken, and check the videos from those camera.
mm.
Like that, they went on until they found where the person parked. And I just walked with the police officer, and then they took my evidence. They're like, is that all? I said yes. They're like, okay, just sign here, like I had come to this the campus
Mm.
station or something. And that was all. They sent me like I was done. When I was riding in that their police shuttle, I felt like this is serious. They had the sirens on. But
Oh my
yeah,
god.
they should tell you how like safe
Safe
this
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 place
place is.
is. Yeah, very, very
Yeah,
safe.
maybe once a while you get some little racist vibes
Yeah, but
once a while, but
I
it's
think
okay.
also it's okay, maybe given the fact that we personally already have our own communities, like you have fellow students that are
Yeah,
not
around
Chinese, it
yeah,
kind of gives you that
home,
safety
yeah,
and that mentality of I don't really care about this.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be worse if you're the only
Alone.
black and you're
Yeah.
but it's not a big deal,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So now we have come to the end of our video.
It's been nice.
Yeah. And then we would look forward to more. I would look forward to more videos with you, honestly. Because we
Same.
have a lot to talk about, we have a lot to unpack. The reason why you are not seeing like my roommate here is because that girl, see, she's laughing. That girl. Okay. I'll not talk my, or should I say, yeah.
For another video.
That girl. Okay, so I think you have to talk about things in class. Remember that Nosa saga?
Oh, plenty things.
We have lots of
Our
jokes.
birthdays, how we celebrated them.
Yes.
Our trip to Wijo.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So until then, we'll see you some other time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.
Bye. Love you.